Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to the event, taking the time out of your evening to be here. This is Elaine Jackson from Holistic Project Management Consulting. We have a special event, not only because it's Black Friday, but it gives us an opportunity to talk with project managers and business experts, give them an opportunity to air some of the concerns in a confidential way that they have in the workplace, issues that maybe they haven't found a solution for. So our guest is Alexei Grashenko, and I'm going to have him introduce himself and talk a little bit about why we're here today. And then what we'll do is get started. And just so you know, those who are on the call, you can confidentially send to me your questions. When this call is saved, we will not, your questions will not be tagged to who is asking or where they're asking from. So you can feel confident if you send it to me. I will blindly look at it. I do not feel the chat will show on my end. I can check with that with Alexei, but let's get started. Alexei, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexei Grashenko. And first of all, I want to say a huge thank you for Elaine for this beautiful space where we already second time going to create value and bring some insights, bring some ideas, some solutions. And I hope we're going to create a very inspirational and very, I would say even motivational maybe video for our participants, of course, and for those who are going to watch this video later. I've been doing learning and development activities for people and organizations for 20 years. I consider myself as a leadership coach, soft skills trainer, organizational psychologist, and business consultant, because these four approaches I'm using in my consultations, in my coaching sessions, four approaches for, let's say, components of meta coaching. So, but if we, I would simplify it, right, and say it's much easier, I would call myself, I'm a professional friend. So I know how to talk to people. I know how to listen you deeply. I know how to understand what's going on behind your words. I know how to feel you, how to see you, and I am doing that not because I want to take advantage, because I want to show it to you. Because the magic of our cycle is we have consciousness and subconsciousness, and we can focus on or operate only with thoughts which are in our consciousness. But a lot of things going on. It's like a bottom part of the iceberg, right? In our subconsciousness, and only other people, especially people who are professional in that, can see, hear, feel you deeper. And of course, that's very helpful when you are looking for some insights, changes, or development activities, solutions, and activities.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So when you say you're a personal friend, I laugh because most people are like, I'm not your friend. I mean,
Professional friend, right?
professional friend. Yeah, someone said that to me. I'm not your friend, and I'm like, are we in high school or what? What's going on here? And then when I don't have any friends, I'm like, gee, I wish I had a friend. So one way or the other, there's a problem. So everyone who's here, thank you so much for taking the time to come on to the call live. The purpose of this call, again, this evening, Alexei and I'm working in the space of project management and positive intelligence. Just for those of you who don't know anything about positive intelligence, or you haven't had a chance to do the survey with me so that I can help you do your saboteur assessment, we all have saboteurs. This is something deep inside of you that maybe something happened when you were younger, and someone said, don't talk loud, or good girls don't do that, or certain things like that, and you always shy away. When you start to do something, you start to remember maybe a scolding, maybe something that embarrassed you, so then you start to draw into yourself instead of being more expressive. So positive intelligence helps you to target how not to keep punishing yourself for things that you haven't even done, and how to be that bright person that you were created to be. And so I'm using this with my project managers when we have discussions, running workshops such as this. Alexei is a professional coach in the area of psychology, so he is able to, like he say, understand and really understand your behaviors and help you to deal with some issues. I want to have a disclaimer right now to make sure that everyone understands that we are here to be of help, but if someone is having a major life impacting situation right now, we did post, and Alexi, maybe you can put that in the chat. I don't know if you're able to work that, but put it in the chat. There's a hotline number for those of you in the States. We don't, or I don't know the number or the process outside of the United States. But if it is that you know or know of someone today or later on that is having let's say a mental breakthrough of some kind and they need professional intervention, that we're making this number available to you. And I'm going to start to keep it near my PC because there has been times on LinkedIn where people get on a LinkedIn group and they're like, I don't want to be here or something, and everybody's like, no, give me your phone number. And then what's the number to call? People start to panic. What should we do? So I think we know this is a stressful time of the year. Good to be aware of that and to also address it, have the information so that you can help someone. So I'd like to kick it off by having individuals put into the chat, and you can send only to me, maybe some questions that you would like to see us cover. If no one puts anything in there, believe me, we have so many topics. Some of them are hilarious, so be ready for that. But we want to make sure that the topics help business leaders and that they do help project managers. So please, excellent. Thank you, Alexa, for putting that in the chat. This is a national number for the U.S. For anybody having any kind of crisis management issue, that they can please hold that onto that. You never know. It may not only be November, December, it could be some other time of the year, but try to keep that number always handy. So while we wait for people to put information in the chat, I believe, Alexa, we had covered some topics and last week, and I'll tell you what, I'll leave it to you because my brain goes everywhere. And I know that those who are here on the call may want to have an opportunity to just to sort of ease into it rather than just have us throw them into the deep end. So what do you think are some of the topics that we should discuss tonight? We'll pick like maybe two topics or something.
Honestly, I would, if you don't mind me, to suggest our online participants, if they okay, right, to show up on video, right, and share their situation, their questions, right, even without video, I mean, right, just maybe using their voice, not only the messages, right. If you feel comfortable, please, you can share your questions, your situations, because we announced this event as a mastermind session. It means we're here for you, right? We purposely invited you here, right? Because we could just make it, like a podcast conversation just between two of us, right? But we purposely invited you here, and we're so happy that you show up, right? So if you have any situations, questions related to project management, Elaine is going to support you, relating to relationships, to self-management, relationship with your stakeholders, with your managers, maybe with your coworkers, any situation, we will do our best to support you, to share our perception of the situation, right? Give you some advice and tools and strategies and solutions. In my opinion, that might be one of the best outcome of this conversation. If you don't feel comfortable to use your voice, right? Please use chat box. We're not going to post it, right? Please describe your situation, describe your question. We would love to create value for you, first of all, because we can talk about any topics, and we did it already, right? And we can continue to do it. That's not a problem for us. But I think that might be more useful if you share your situations, your questions, and we're going to bring all our experience and positive intention to support you. How does it sound for you? Please maybe share with us in a chat box. Do you have a situation or question? Would you like us to? Okay, so yes, please share where are you, right? What format is going to be the most useful for you tonight? You have questions or situations, and we can analyze them, right?
Well, why don't we get started? Why don't we talk a little bit about? I had mentioned that sometimes when there's a crisis, and I was born here in the United States, but I was raised as a West Indian. So, it's like you born in San Diego, but your mom never spoke English and she spoke only Russian, only cooked Russian food. And so that's the kind of environment. And we talked about when people behave, it's because of the coaching that their parents gave them up front. And I was wondering why sometimes when there's a crisis, and you see the news, you see Americans running around in a circle, like frenzy, screaming and everything. And when you see other countries that they're composed, they're under stress, but they're maintaining their composure to not appear looking, I don't know, is it they don't want to look crazy and we Americans don't mind looking crazy? I just don't understand that. And I'm not sure you explained it to me. Can you go into that a little bit?
Of course, yes. The first of all, right, if your example about Russian family was about myself, right, I'm originally from Russia, yes, and I moved here 6 years ago, right, so I was born and raised in Russia. And because I was born and raised in Eastern culture, right, and I'm living in the Western culture, I believe that I have good, and I've been working, right, with more than 600 managers for last 6 years, right, from different corporates such as Google, Accenture, Intuitive, Chevron, Facebook, and Amazon, and others, right? I have a good sense, why it's happening. And my first question is going, no, or my first point is not going to be related to the culture. It's going to be related to how people can, let me say, assess themselves and identify that they need help. Because, for example, let me bring you my own example, right? In Russia, despite the whole healthcare system is free and you can call 911 easily, everyone is going to come over, right, and show up, the ER, right, and the emergency, right? And they can help you and everything. There is no cost for that, right? No consequences, no bills, nothing like that, right? But I was taught, and many children, right, that, hey, you cannot call to these services until it's really like necessary, right? Don't do it. Don't call to police if it's not necessary. Don't call to emergency, right? 911, right? If it's not necessary. Don't bother these services, right? They are very busy people. And it's correct. It's right. But at the same time, I am, as a psychologist, right? I realized that I don't know the border, right? When I can call and when I don't have to call, right? And in my opinion, in my perception as a child, right? The perception is if someone is bleeding, I need to call. But if someone is just not bleeding, or something else is happening, I don't need to call, right? So, and that's the good question to explore for each of us. How I, myself, right? How I can assess my emotional, physical, and mental condition in the way that I can identify, yes, now I need help. And this is very important because a lot of people, they think, okay, I'm not, a lot of people, they don't go to doctors regularly, right? They've never met psychologists. They've never met coaches. They've never met any specialists because they're just living their life. They're struggling with some illnesses, with some, emotional, mental challenges, but they've never asked for help. Why? Because probably they were, maybe as me, right, were told that, hey, don't bother, professionals, right? Something like that. That's the first thing. The second thing, I think in United States, there is a lot of organizations and non-profit and government agencies and others who is ready to support people in many different situations, right? If you're a single mom, if you're, for example, immigrant, if you're become homeless, right, or any other situation, there are a lot of these organizations, and most of them they support for free. They provide their services for free, right? And everyone knows it. Moreover, one more component here that in the United States is very popular to always be a part of community, right? Any community, right? It might be your neighbor's community, might be your professional community, might be your ethnicity community, any communities, right? And you have the sense of community. You have the sense of that this is a group of people who have the same goals or maybe the same challenges, the same values, and you can share with them. For example, in Russia, we don't have a lot of communities, despite we're a collectivism country, right? We don't have a lot of communities. Why? Because the main idea of collectivism, it's the society as a whole community, you know, the whole country, it's your country, your society, right? But it's not working like that. I cannot share with the whole country what's going on with me, right? But I can
Right.
share it in my community, right? Which is smaller, which is more united most of the time, right? So in this case, I see that in the United States, really this supporting environment, right, is built in much better way, right?
Okay.
People compare it with other countries.
That makes a lot of sense because I did do a newsletter and it was talking about when do you really know. You don't really know unless you're sweating, or sometimes people will say, "Why you're crying?" I'm like, "I'm not crying." They're like, "Yeah, your face is wet." And it's like people sometimes are crying or they're grieving and they don't even know it. They're walking the street crying and don't even realize it, or they're shaking. And it's not until somebody tells you what's wrong, then, oh, I'm showing signs, but the whole time you're suppressing it. So here's some of the questions, right, that they're talking about is one person asked about handling discrimination in the workplace and that impact on mental health. Now, as you know, we in this country we have employee resource groups that are supposed to
ARJ,
be, but I do
yes.
believe that their job is to find out breaches and protect the company. I don't think that their job, they come as we are here for you, but they're really not. When you interact with them, the interaction is not that they're going to protect you, they're to protect the interests of the company. So someone is asking how to handle that and how to handle burnout, and which is something that project managers are dealing with.
Yes, yes, beautiful questions. So there are two questions, right, about discrimination and about burnout, right? So what's the first of all I want to say about when you feel that you are discriminated or can get discriminated, right? So what you need to first of all focus on, right? It's to don't put yourself in a victim mindset. Don't put yourself in a victim position yourself, right? Because other people, they can say, they can think, they can do whatever they want. It might be legal, it might be after that you can maybe invite them to court, right, or argue with them, right? But the first of all, which I invite every one of my clients to check, how what's your perception of this situation? If you feel yourself as a victim, this is not this people problem, it's your problem, it's your perception, right? And even if they caused it, right? So that's the first thing which we need to check. If you because there is a difference, let me explain, right? When some of my clients, they're coming and say, I got discriminated, I'm a woman, for example, or I'm like a person in color or some other, right, qualities, right, I have. And they always tell me something, they don't let me do something, they, right? It's always this speech, always from the very powerless position, from the very powerless perception. And that's what we need to check first and change, right? Because it's still your life. You still should respect, love, and protect yourself, right? And you need, let me say like that, you need to disconnect with victim perception, with this victim emotion, because what other people say or do, it's not about you sometimes. I would say even in the most situations, it's about them. right? And when you get involved in this game, emotionally, first of all, of course, right? Uh, it's what you can change, right? And my first focus of attention, right, as a coach and psychologist, it's to empower a person back to take responsibility for their own life. That, hey, other people, again, we're not responsible for other people's thoughts, emotions, feelings, change, decisions, or actions. People
Hmm.
can do whatever they want, and we cannot control it, and we cannot expect it in a certain way, right?
Hmm.
But what we can do, we can control and manage ourselves, right? And the first thing, you need to empower yourself and say, it's my life, right? I don't want to be next to these people, right? Or I want to continue working in this company, but I don't want to be next to these people. I don't want to work with them. And after that, proactively start looking for the strategies, how you can either, how you call it, put in charge, right? These people, right? So, I mean, to use some, maybe, again, laws, right? Maybe attorneys, maybe HR specialists, maybe other special. But you see, you are in a very powerful position, right? You love yourself, you support yourself, and you're going to, again, protect yourself, right?
Hmm.
But not from the powerless position, but from very powerful position, right?
Right.
Especially if it's, if you, the law, the rights on your side, right? Okay, and I saw the Felon, right, shared the thumbs up, right? Thank you for your reaction. That's the first and main thing which I would suggest everyone to focus on, right? Don't let other people put you yourself down in your own eyes. That's very
Correct.
important.
Correct,
Mhm.
correct. So how do you talk about burnout? The clients that I get who are project managers are given a lot of responsibility. So we talked about
Uh-huh.
this last week, right? A lot of responsibility. They have to manage the people, the team, the budget, the timeline, any risk. Somebody doesn't show up, what you got to do, the project still has to go on. And
Mhm.
so a lot of project managers sort of skimp on their own personal health. They don't take
Yes,
care of their health. They don't drink water during the day. They don't go to the bathroom during the day. They don't eat on time. And eventually the body starts to break down. But they
of
don't,
course.
they just do it. They see it as I'm doing what I have to do to keep my job, not
Yes.
I'm destroying myself.
Yes, let me bring the most favorite framework. It's a psychoanalysis framework from the psychoanalysis psychology. If you guys have heard about the Sigmund Freud, right, who is the founder of psychoanalysis psychology. So one guy, his name is Eric Berne. He's a follower of Sigmund Freud. He created the beautiful psychoanalysis framework, and I'm gonna share it with you, like in a couple words. I will do my best, right? And you always can Google and read more articles and books. It's very famous. It calls transactional analysis.
Mhm.
Transactional analysis by Eric Berne. The main idea of this framework says that each of us, you, me, and others, we have three sub-personalities, three ego states. One of them is inner child. The second one is inner parent, and the third one is inner adult. And let me describe the difference, because that's the very important. That's the answer to a lot of questions, includes burnout, right? And why we get so tired and all of this stuff, right? And how to support ourselves. So inner child, it's a small boy or girl inside you who is usually 5, 6, 7 years old, right? Try to remember yourself, 5, 6, 7 years old, right? And this inner child has two main functions inside us. The first function is to provide emotional reaction to internal and external changes. For example, I got hungry, I can get mad and say, I don't want to work anymore here. I don't like, I'm tired, right? Or I can just eat, like I get my, I don't know, have my lunch, right? And feel, ooh, it was so good, right? So just emotional reaction. Or the weather, right? In San Diego today is very gloomy, and my inner child says, I don't like the weather like that, right? I want a sun. Where is the sun, right? So, and when it's sunny, my inner child says, yes, I love it. This is so cool. That's why I'm here, right? So just emotional reaction. I either like something, either don't like. And you know what's funny? If you ask any children, for example, hey, do you want ice cream? They have the answer right away, yes or no. If you ask them, hey, what like ice cream do you want? They're gonna pick the ice cream so quick. Why? Because they don't have any, like let me say, mental constructions, like mental processes, around it. They just listen to their intuition, right? Their true wish, right? What they want, and just express it. That's an inner child. And the second very important function of our inner child is to create dreams and wishes, right? And I love this expression. Walt Disney, right, the very famous person, said, the main problem of this world is too many children become adults, right? We forgot how to dream. We forgot how to play, how to have fun, right? And enjoy this life here and now, right? And our inner child is responsible for that. Okay, we have second role, right? It's inner parent. We have two types of inner parents: nurturing parent, mom, and critical parent, dad. And in a healthy person, right? So from the psychological perspective, healthy, inner mom should take care about whom? About your inner child. Your inner mom, nurturing parent, should always, let me say, assess, right, how you feel. And if you got tired, right, exhausted, or you're not having fun, your inner mom should say, hey, stop, 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 stop. Something is going wrong here, right? And try to remember this voice in your head when you're working a lot, right? And you forgot to have your lunch, and someone in your mind says, hey, stop, go home, too much, that's it, right? Stop. That's your inner mom. That's the person inside you who's supposed to take care of you, right? So that's the inner mom position. And we have an inner father position, right? Critical parent. So we call it critical parent. Why? Because in our childhood, right, our parents either support us, either criticize us most of the times, right? So, and that's why, I don't know why they assign, the critical role to the father. And maybe because the father most powerful role, right? Usually emotionally or energetically, maybe, or physically, right? But ideally, right, in a healthy person, right, so in a healthy psychology, the critical parent doesn't have to be critical. The critical parent is supposed to be like a risk manager who can see dangerous situations, potential risks, right? But because we used to have a lot of criticism in our childhood from teachers, from parents, sometimes from friends, from significant others, right? We learned that, oh, okay, when I need to criticize someone, right, I'm going to go to a very powerful position and put all my negative emotions on this person from the above, right? From the position above, right? And that's why we call it critical. But ideally, it's not critical. So again, your inner father should see the risk. For example, when you're planning to do something, right, your inner intuition, your critical father can say, hey, please check this twice, right? So double check it, because do you remember last time we failed there, right? Again, that's not a criticism, that's a risk management. And what's common about these two positions, inner child and inner parent? Always are emotional positions, always, right? And the position number 3, it's adult position. It's a totally rational position. By the way, when I explain this theory to my clients, right, I always call them, let's use the metaphor that it's a project manager position. Why? Because it's always about goals, action plans, resources, deadlines, risks, right? And all of this rational management of components which you need to achieve your goals. And let me pose it in my description here, right? And share how it's related to burnout. So what happens, right? When you feel that you're getting exhausted or burnout, it means your inner child is not having fun anymore. You lost the sense of joy, of of the pleasure, right? Doing what you're doing. Why? Because your adult started focusing a lot on the goals, deadlines, go, do, faster, 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 right? And your critical parent says, if you're not going to complete this task today, you're going to be whatever, fired or criticized, or something might fail, right? It's disbalanced in this, like your inner, let's call it inner family. And that's the things which is happening not within one day. These things usually happening within months and years, when we are more focused on the rational side of what we're doing, right? Our adult and critical parents, all these push us move forward. and we already forgot how to enjoy what we're doing. Have
Wow.
fun, laugh, smile, and be happy, satisfied, maybe, right? And really assess, do I still like it or maybe not already? you know?
So,
So
so
how does it sound for you, this answer?
that sounds intense. That because I'm playing out some situations in my mind, and I'm also looking at the questions that are coming into the chat. So I'm going to hit you with another one. That same person is asking about handling public humiliation. Some managers, maybe they are stuck in one of these ego stages too, and the only way to control someone is to play like they're your father when they're not your father, and tell you what to do and embarrass you in front of your team. So they're asking about how do you handle situations when
Yes.
somebody's trying to humiliate you in a professional environment.
Again, I already shared the main thing which you need to always to start with, right? Please remember, it's maybe so hard to believe in that, maybe so hard to change your mindset, but that's what we are doing in coaching. That's my main job, right? It's to a little bit change your perception of yourself and the world itself, right?
Mhm.
Please remember, no one can do anything with you until you, let me say, until you want to perceive it like that. Okay, someone again can says anything about me, my performance on a common meetings, right? And when I say this person is humiliating me, right, it's my interpretation of what's going on, right? And it might be true, right? It might be true, but the first thing which I need to do is to don't let myself go down and say, oh, okay, so it looks like, right, you want to provide me feedback, for example, that I'm doing something wrong, right? And they change because humiliation usually happens on the identity level, on a role level, right? You are, right, someone or something, right? But
Mm,
you can, if again, if you're emotionally stable, if you believe in yourself, you're what we call, by the way, professional person. Who is professional? In my opinion, professional person is who is, first of all, mature person, mature emotionally. And if you easily can, get emotional, right, because of something, someone is happening around you, right, we can practice, we call it acceptance skill, right, how to accept changes around you and don't let them to put you down in the negative emotions, right? And
mm,
again, you see what I'm talking, right? I'm not, when you're asking me questions, I'm not focusing on other people. I don't care about other people in these situations, right?
mm,
Why? Because I want to empower you to
mm,
handle any situation in your life.
mm,
Again, let me remind you, right? Everyone can do whatever they want, but
mm,
it doesn't mean that you need to feel bad, right? Devalue yourself, criticize yourself, doubt yourself, right? You can still value yourself, right? Still respect yourself and handle the situations from the rational perspective. Again, you can, for example, say, can I ask you, right, to provide your feedback about my actions, for example, right? Not about my personality, right? Not about me as a person, right? Or provide me feedback in the way, in advice, like as an advice, right? What you would like me to change, right? You can reshape the conversation.
mm.
Or at least if you feel that it's a lot of emotions, you can say, can we pause it here to let our emotions cool down and get back to this conversation in an hour, for example. You see, when you don't let anyone, right, let me say again, feel bad, right?
Mhm.
Because you see, let me show one more interesting things, right? Uh, why we cannot handle emotions in most of the situation, in some of the situations, right? Because we get too associated as an inner child, right? We feel that if someone says something bad, we as a child feel very powerless, very sad, very frustrated, disappointed, so bad, right? But you cannot handle situations with other people from the child position because it's not child's function. You need
Right.
to be in adult position, rational position, if you want to handle something, right, and manage something. Totally different roles, right? And if
Definitely.
and you, but let me highlight here, it's very important. You can feel every emotions. It's totally fine, right, to feel emotions. But it's also good to learn how to notice your emotion, right? And Give it to adult and say, adult, that's the sign for you that I feel bad now, or start feeling bad, right?
Mhm.
Manage it, do something, stop conversation, leave the call, right? Ask the person to say something in a different way, provide your feedback, do something, right? An adult, who's always rational, right, inside you, can always handle it. But the problem is that to change from child to adult takes time and practice, right?
I I
And
think there
mature.
has to be workshops on that. So here's
We can
another.
do it. We can do it. I have a beautiful presentation. I can share a couple slides about it. We can practice. We can do it if it's useful.
Awesome, awesome. Just so you guys know, this guy is available for hire. So don't wait until you have an issue with your manager and you're calling him crying and screaming on the phone. This is the opportunity to say, look, let me try. I think you should have workshops on practicing how to come
Let's do
back.
it.
Come
Let's
back.
do it.
I
But
mean,
I
I
would.
mean,
But
I'm from New York, so we know comebacks, but they're not really very professional. I'll tell you that one right now.
yeah.
Here's a question.
But I'm going to have. If we're going to do this workshop, I'm going to have one condition. One condition which is super important when we communicate with people, right, and going to practice something. You guys need to show up with video because I need to read your body language, your emotions. 93% of the information we're getting not from the words. Thank you. Thank you so much. Right? Now I see you. Now I hear you.
Hello.
Now I see the people who we're talking to, right? And who we're creating the video here, right? Thank you so much. 93% information we are reading from body language, intonations, poses, and all of this tone of voice stuff, right? 55% from the body language only. Can you imagine when you're participating on a call with someone, right, and talking without video, you're losing 55% of information which person
Um,
is sending to you, right?
okay.
55.
So,
Let me share one thing. I think it might be very insightful if you don't mind me.
okay, let's make
Can
sure
I?
that we get permission to go over, making sure we don't go over. Also, we have some Black Friday specials to announce, so I want to make sure we have
Of course.
time
Yeah.
for that.
I just want to share the practical advice about how you can disconnect with your emotions when you need it, right?
Okay.
And manage it. Just one advice.
Mm,
It's not advice, it's a metaphor.
mm.
May I?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Everybody's okay with that? You okay, Lavetta? Okay.
yes, thank you. So, let me remind you, I'm sure you knew that, but let me remind you, very interesting thing. So, you have emotions, you have thoughts, you make decisions, you take some actions, and they are yours, correct?
Hmm.
Right? But what is important to remember? Oh, thank you so much for turning on videos. So nice to see you, right? But what you need to remember here, that you are not your emotions. You are not your thoughts. You
Hmm.
are not your feelings. You're not your actions even. And you're not your knowledge and not your experience and not your skills.
Hmm.
You're much bigger. And let me use the metaphor, right? This shirt, right, is mine, but I'm not a shirt, correct?
Hmm.
Right? Please, to dissociate with your emotions, just remind yourself, I'm not my emotions. I'm someone bigger, right? And I can dissociate myself from my emotions, right? And remember that it's mine. That's also very important, right? I already mentioned it several times, and I'm going to remember it because I believe that's the main first step, right? Please take responsibility for all your reactions. If someone is humiliating you, it's your choice to get offended or not. It's your choice to take it personally or not.
Hmm.
If you're in an adult position, as a child, you're gonna accept everything. Good, tell me good things about me, right? And I'm gonna be happy. Tell me bad things. Am I gonna believe in that?
Hmm.
But we're not the children, right? Already.
That's correct.
I mean,
That is
we're
good.
supposed to be sometimes, but we're not, right? We have another option as well. Yeah.
That is good stuff. So, someone asked, how can we position ourselves as leaders while staying authentic to our identity and values? So, to me, when I read this, sometimes you see deviant behavior in leaders, um, being mean, stabbing people in the back, verbally stabbing people in the back, not telling the truth, um,
Uh-huh.
not giving everybody a fair chance. So when you say, I want to go into leadership, are you really saying I want to be part of the bully club? Or am I saying that I want to change how the perception of that club is to everybody?
I would continue, right? Elaine's idea, right? So when you decided to join the management leadership circle, right? Ask yourself, is it my tribe people? Are we aligned on a values level? Are we valued the same? For example, people, respect, right? I don't know, safety, comfort, unity, togetherness, team, or not, or you are trying to join the team of people, right? Group of people who value, I don't know, maybe ego-centric approaches, maybe success in their own understanding, right? Maybe something else which is not yours values. And in this case, I always ask my client when they said, right, I'm not enjoying working in my company anymore, right? Because I joined it when it was like one leaders, right? And called corporate culture. Now it's changed, right? And it's different people. They have different values. Again, I don't want to say they're bad or good, right? It's just different, not mine, right? And here you have a choice, right? Two options. Option number one, right? Adapt. I would say three, right? Three options. Option number one, adapt and become like them. If it's important to you for some your other purposes, maybe you want to earn money, titles before you're going to move, whatever, you can rent out yourself. You can adapt, right? But the main idea, for what. You know when you're going to leave this team and company because you achieved your goals, right? It's like renting out yourself. It's not pleasant sometimes, but you can do it, right?
Mhm.
Option number two, you can set the goal to change this culture and put a lot of efforts on it. Let me tell you, as a person who is changing people's lives, right? It's very difficult. Very difficult, especially if you're not a psychologist, if you're not a coach, right? It's really difficult because you need to have, the certain skills, knowledge, tools, right? Uh, but it's possible. For example, if you join the team, for example, I don't know, of 10 people, and you can find out that three of you, right, are feeling the same. In this case, 3%, it's enough to make a change, right? It's statistically
Hmm.
confirmed.
Okay.
3% of people is enough to make a change, right? Especially if these people have a leadership skills and they can attract other people to follow them, right? Beautiful opportunity. Or the option number three, you can leave this environment, right? I always use this metaphor. You can be like a Lamborghini or Ferrari, in your profession, but if I put you in a swan, right, in a jungle, you're not going to drive anywhere, right? You can be very, very expensive car, right? You can be very professional. But if you're in the wrong environment, it's not going to work, right? Because the Ferrari is supposed to be on the track, right? On the roads. It's better somewhere without snow, like in California, right? or somewhere else, right? So
Excellent.
you need to assess your environment, and if your environment inspires you, aligns with you, right, based on the values, and you can contribute, and the environment, this team contributes in you, that's a fair exchange, that's collaboration, that's the win-win. If you're in the wrong environment, I already shared three options, right, which you can do.
Well, I'm telling you, you should have been around like 15 years ago when I needed you. Having horrible.
It's never late.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But
Never late.
the hard it's hard when you work in a job and you want to make it work. And I think that's the problem. When you want to make it work, when you probably just say, I'm leaving. And I think younger
Yes.
people have an edge over older people because they're like, it's not working, I'm out of here, and they walk. Whereas the older generation, I want to make it work, I want to try, I want to, and it's waste of time. Many times it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
So Alexei, so everybody give a thumbs up, thumbs down. Did you
How are you
enjoy
feeling?
this
Is it
exchange?
useful? Yeah.
Did you enjoy this? Show a six for a thumbs up and a nine for thumbs down. Did you enjoy this? We'd like to be able to offer more workshops like this. I see a benefit of, and I don't know, we can talk about it and do a survey and send it out to everybody and see if they'd like to have a working session where, number one, it's confidential. I think the issue, though, Alexei, is that people we first of all, we haven't said this is a confidential circle. We haven't had a confidentiality thing here in the mastermind. That's normally what happens. And then you say, okay, nobody talk outside the circle. What happens here, like in Vegas, what happens here stays here.
Mhm.
And so, we didn't do that. And it's hard, especially for women of color, to say you're going to talk about it. Somebody's going to say, oh, so you don't like my management style. No, I don't. So I think having a workshop and how to talk back without really being rude, or how to use certain words
Of
that are
course,
how
yeah,
to use
we can.
powerful words to get your point across.
I agree with you that we can maybe, offer two types of events, right? The one which we are recording and going to share, right? And you can keep your confidentiality level on the level which you want, right? And we can do like a very confidential, practical event, right? So where we're not going to record it anything, right? It's going to just stay with us, right? And we can practice a lot, right? And we can maybe get to the other level of your questions, right? So deeper level of your questions, right? And shares. Yeah, for
I
sure.
think such an event will also be, and I think people need to realize it's going to be emotional, because you're going to be reliving it and realizing the missed opportunities, and he said and she said and I hate him and blah blah blah. But hopefully, Alexa, you'll get us past that part. We'll dry our tears and we'll get past
Easily,
that point.
easily. And because I've been working with people every day, right? And I see them crying sometimes, but they are crying not because the bad things happened, because they happened already, right? They are crying because they finally allow themselves to feel emotions and let this inner child to
Mhm,
express it. And that's how a lot of traumas, right? We got a lot of traumas. The trauma, it just emotions we didn't live through. Because when we're children, right, we want to be a good girl or good boy, right, to our parents. And if we don't like something or we feel bad or something, right, we decide, these like small children, right, 5, 6, 7 and younger, right, years old, decided to don't show their emotions because they don't want to upset their parents, right, or look bad or something like that. And that's create traumas, right? And when adults are crying, it's a beautiful thing. Why? Because it reminds you you're alive. You're alive. You're not a robot and machine of I don't know, project management or management or something, right? You're alive, and that's the most beautiful thing about being the human being. Sorry for right repeating the words, right?
that's okay. Can you put your offer in the chat? Your Black
Yeah, of
Friday
course.
offer.
And I'm ready to show a couple slides if it's necessary, right, with QR codes, or I
Okay.
can just
What?
share I can just share the text right in the chat. It's up to you.
Yeah. What time is it?
Yeah. It's 4:48 in my here in
Four
Canada.
forty.
4:48, right? So
48. It's the 12
7:40.
minutes. Yeah, we have time. My links are in the chat. I believe mostly everybody on the call. I'm not sure. Yeah, Lavetta is a project manager too, and
Elaine,
Loretta.
I don't see your links honestly. Maybe you send it to someone, but it's not
No,
in the call and chat.
I actually posted it before the meeting happened.
We don't see it because we can see only chat when we
Yeah.
join the meeting,
When
right? So
you
share it
yeah,
again.
you joined after. You joined after. I'm going to put it in there now,
Yeah.
but what you can do is start talking through your offer, and I'll just put mine in there.
Yeah, let me, guys, just show you this opportunity, right, which we created for you because of the Black Friday, right? So for those of you who already know how the coaching works, who already work with psychotherapists, psychologists, right? I would suggest you to take this opportunity, 75% of discount, right, and get 5 coaching sessions for the quick solutions. We usually meet weekly, like 7 days. My coaching style is a sprinter. I love quick, dive deeper and create quick changes, quick results. I am not a marathoner. Despite I have master's degree in psychology, I don't do psychotherapy. Why? Because it takes months and years, right? That's not my type. I'm getting bored, honestly. I'm so sorry, right? To being so honest with you, right? So I love coaching because coaching, hey, one conversation, right? So we identify the root causes. I provide you solutions, tools, everything what you need. You go 7 days trying to implement it. We meet in 1 week, right? See what's going on, move forward, right? So if you want to like dive a little bit deeper, right? Because if you have like several maybe issues or challenges, right? 2 months program might be fit well. or if you want to really reassess yourself as a person, your professional skills, knowledge, your career, right? 3 months might be the good fit for you, right? And 75% of discount, right? You can use coupon Black Friday 75. You can scan the QR code, right? You can use the links which I just shared in the chat. So if you're ready to work, right, like deeply and start it right away, that's offer for you. If you have never worked with psychologists and coaches, you're so scared. You think that I'm gonna identify everything about you and I will see the bad things and all something like that, right? So I want to ensure you that that's the difference also between coaching and psychotherapy. In coaching, as you can see, right, my vibe, right, we keep it in the present moment and we look at your future. We're always thinking positively about, hey, reframe your perception, right? If you see that someone's humiliating you, hey, make a choice, right? Do you want to be humiliated or not? It's your choice, right? Or how would you like this person talk to you? Let's set the goals. Let's identify your tools and strategies, how you can change the conversations. Let's learn how to do it. Let's practice. It's all about, I don't know, for me, the coaching is the most positive thing, because we're always talking about how you can create your own reality in the way you want it to be, right? And that's a special offer, one 45-minute session, right, for $49. Just for those of you who wants to try or maybe get to know me more. Maybe you can share, your situations and I can suggest you, because sometimes, for example, I had one client and I suggested her to go to psychiatrist because she came over to me with a situation when she, how you call it? Like, when she got so nervous, she passed. I always mix two words: pass away and pass out. pass out or
It's
pass
two
away.
different things.
Pass out. No, I mean
Yeah,
she's
pass
not
out.
like
Yeah, yeah.
she's not dying, right? She's losing her
Yeah,
conscious,
right,
right?
right.
So pass out, right? And I said, hey, if you're pass out every time when you are right in a like huge stress, right? You don't need psychologist, you don't need coach, you need psychiatrist. Go to doctor because your emotional condition impacts to your vital functions, right? You see, maybe I can suggest you, maybe you. I'm not talking about you guys, right? And all of you who is watching this, right? But I mean, I know the differences, right? And I know what type of specialist can help you in a better way with your solution. And if it's me as a psychologist, coach, skill trainer, and business consultant, I will do my best. If it's not me, I will tell you, hey, that's the next door, please, right? And I will help you to identify who is better, right? So please feel free to take this, to take advantage of this opportunity, right? And change your life. Because again, I think the main idea or main message from myself to you guys today: please empower yourself to manage your life in your own way. And remember, no one can do anything with you, right, if you not allow them to do it.
I got it. I got it. So let me show my offer. Were you able to see my desktop? You guys are seeing
Not
it?
yet, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Share screen. Share. So this is my offer. My offer is what I'm offering is for you guys to get 20 minutes of accelerated sharing. We have some tools for you, and these are project management tools. They're like over 30 tools. And by taking those tools, sure, you don't have to, you can just take the tools, go with it, but it would be better to discuss which tools would you use, how can you use them in combination. You don't need to use 35 tools on a project, every project. You want to be able to sort of look and know what you have. So you go on a new project and the manager says, I need this and that. You say, oh my God, it's going to take me a long time. And then you go into your little bag of tools, pull two or three things together. They're ready made, cut and paste, start filling it out, and you're done within a half an hour. Where the whole time you told the manager it's going to take me all night. I'm going to be up all night. And that's what some people do. They pretend like they've been up all night. They didn't get any sleep, and the whole time they're using these quick, fast ways to get things done. I also have top 20 questions to ask when you go on, when you join a new team or when you start a new project, and also 20 tips to confirm some of the things that you should do as a project manager. So, questions to ask when you get a new job, and then when you get that job, when you start with the team. Another tip, actually, this is more like 50 tips, okay? There's a checklist of tips on the best practices in project management. And then the bonus, again, is that toolkit that goes along with a session. And there's an opportunity for you to also have a session with me to find out what's missing, either for your projects, or maybe you want to get a refresher in project management, you need PDUs. There's an opportunity. And again, all of this, as you know, Black Friday, we try to keep the prices really low. And so the price on this ends up being $19.99, $19. I'm sure some of you are saying, oh my God, how many PDUs can I get for that? So just to let you know, this is an opportunity for you to get to know me a little bit more. And if it is that you are not at the point where this is like way further than where you are, let's talk and let's see what we can do to help you, especially if you're just getting started in project management. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share. I should
May
be,
I offer one closing activity for us?
yeah,
Yes,
yes.
I always do it on my webinars and mastermind sessions and in coaching. Each coaching session, if you could stop using the screen that I can see, right? Our
Let me
participants, it
share.
would be awesome. Thank you so much. May I ask you one
Is it is it
question?
stopping or is it still
No,
sharing?
no, we still can see your
Okay, hold
beautiful
on.
offer.
Let's stop share. It's not going off. I apologize.
No worries, no worries.
Hold on.
Let me offer you the closing activity. So
Okay.
please, that's how we finish each coaching session, right? So please answer the question. What is your main takeaway, main insight from this conversation? Only one idea. It's going to help you to focus on what you really need to think about and in what areas you need to make some first steps and first changes, right? So please, if you feel comfortable, right, share it in our comment chat or send it to Elaine, right? So please share what's your main takeaway, main insight from this conversation.
I'll start. I took
Yes.
away that I don't need to tell people that I do martial arts to get them to be afraid so that when they interact with me, they don't have to wonder she's going to kick my ass. Immediate when I meet people, I'm like, oh, I do martial arts and stuff. It's me overpowering them in a way to let them know this is where I'm coming from. And yeah, I do that and I can't help it because I just do it. So now I know there's another way. It doesn't mean I'm not going to do it anymore.
Yeah, I believe again, right? The best tool to handle any situation is to re-empower yourself,
Yeah.
right? And keep this power inside you, make your own choice and your own decision, right? And because again, honestly, if to change other people's, if they don't pay you, it's very, like a lot of efforts, it's very hard work, right? And why should you do it, right? You don't need to change people if they don't ask you for help or your advice or feedback, right? And if they don't pay you, they pay for me, right? So I do it every day,
Right.
but
Right.
you don't have to, right?
Okay.
Thank you for sharing. That's a beautiful insight. Yeah.
Okay.
And we have several also answers, right? Would you like to read? Go
Anybody
ahead.
else?
Yeah, yeah. Lavetta, right, says, I'm not my emotions. Yes, you have them. We all have
Mhm.
emotions, but we're not our emotions. We do need to be associated with them, if, especially when they're negative, right? When they're positive, of course, live through, enjoy, fulfill yourself with all emotions, right? And that's beautiful. By the way, if you want to get some good ideas and advice, how to handle your emotions, please watch two movies. Movie one, Inside Out. Movie two, Inside Out 2. Beautiful cartoons about emotions, how our
Okay.
brain works, how traumas got created, how We creates the minds and patterns and scenarios and beautiful cartoons, right? I was thinking to make a workshop where we can watch these movies and I can comment what's going on, because it's like a, I don't know, a Bible of emotional intelligence, but in the movie. So please check these movies. And uh, Melanie, right, says, work on inner child and control your mindset. Yes, because again, it's your mindset, right? Only you can control it. Please remember about that, right? And Laurel says, opinion of others is not only is is only an option. Yes, that's what I love to say about the feedback, for example, right? Remember, feedback is always subjective and always optional. You can take it, you can just say thank you can do something with it, you can leave it, right? Please empower yourself, live your own life. And that's, I think, the first step which everyone needs to take when you feel uncomfortable, unsafe, or maybe tired, exhausted. Take care. Invite your inner mom, who's going to say, hey, baby, what's going on? Are you tired, exhausted? Let's go to bed. Let's go eat something. Let's go for a walk. Let's do some activities. Let's watch funny movie, Inside Out. All right, please watch it. And enjoy your life. I know, Elaine, that you don't like us to go over, right? But my personal observation and work, which I'm doing for myself now, I'm learning how to enjoy the processes, because I'm very like achiever, results oriented. And you know what I realize? That the life itself, it's only process. And the results of life, it's death, right? And we don't need to work on it. We don't want it, right? We don't want this result. But what we can work on? We can work on living through our life, living through every minute of our life with joy, inspiration, happiness, and freedom, and a lot of pleasure, right? And that's what we definitely can do, because each of you has inner child who can be happy, inner mom who can make sure that we're happy, inner parent who is going to protect us from some risk, inner adult who can manage everything. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you, everyone, and those on listening to the recording. Thank you. Do get in touch with us. We're looking forward to doing more events in the new year. Thank you, Fallon, Laurel, Lavetta.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, and thank you,
Thank
Alexei, for your
you.
Thank,
time. Thank you so
thank you,
much.
Elaine, for
All right.
Thank
yours.
you. Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Giving.
Bye,
Thank you
everybody.
so much. Bye bye.
Okay. Let me stop the recording.
Mhm.
So stop recording.